Davante Adams is being held captive by one of the worst run organizations in recent NFL history. The Las Vegas Raiders used to be one of the best organizations in the entire NFL, capturing Super Bowls in 1977, 1981, and also 1984. But since those times, the Raiders have not done much. The last time the Raiders won a playoff game was January 19th, 2003 against the Tennessee Titans, a game they won 41-24 in the 2002 AFC Championship game. But why has this organization been so bad for so long? Well, there are multiple reasons for this. Today we're going to talk about a few of those and also explain how this would affect Davante Adams going forward. So let's rewind to 2018, where the owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, Mark Davis, hired Jon Gruden to be the head coach of this team. Jon Gruden, famously known for his quarterback camps, was signed to a 10-year, $100 million deal to become the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, a guy who at that time had not coached for 10 years. The hire ended horribly due to the email scandal, but even before this, people wondered why he was given that type of contract in the first place. Gruden was only able to go 22-31 during what would be his second time coaching the Las Vegas Raiders, at that time formerly known as the Oakland Raiders. Obviously, giving 10 years to a guy who had not coached in 10 years was a huge mistake, but it was going to take something very enticing to remove Jon Gruden away from his quarterback camp, which was very successful and highly entertaining. But at the same time, just because you have to throw a lot of money at him in order to get him to leave doesn't mean that you actually go out there and do that. Jon Gruden is a big name that made a splash at the time, and so you're going to notice a pattern with the next hire by Mark Davis, which brings us closer to our situation right now, and that is former head coach Josh McDaniels, who signed a 6-year deal worth up to $60 million. And we already knew it was going to take a lot in order to get Josh McDaniels to leave the Patriot boot camp. And obviously, Mark Davis knew this as well, and so he put the deal on the table. And with these two contracts, I know that you already put it together, but the Raiders owner, Mark Davis, has no idea what he's doing when it comes to these contracts, because it seems to me that he's so eager to pull the trigger on a big name instead of actually sitting down and getting the right coach for the job. In Josh McDaniels' last stint as a head coach, he went 11-17 while coaching the Denver Broncos. And before he was let go by the Raiders, he was able to rack up a total record of 9-16, making him 20-33 overall as a head coach. It seems to me that majority of the people who leave the Patriot boot camp do not fare as well as they once did under Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. And to be honest with you, Josh McDaniels should call the Patriots right now and beg for his offensive coordinator job back, because to me, that seems to be the only place that he has had any type of success, and the Patriots probably and really could use it. But let's continue, because I think that sets the stage up for present day. Josh McDaniels is gone, but you still have an unhappy superstar wide receiver in Davante Adams, because the Raiders simply suck. And even though the coaches didn't help, the common denominator in this entire situation is the owner. Bad hires and a guy who is out of touch with his player base has led to the Raiders being in the situation we see today. Davante Adams, who is your star wide receiver, is unhappy. One, because you got rid of his close friend in Derek Carr, who is, in my honest opinion, better than his replacement in Jimmy Garoppolo. And it's one thing to get rid of a quarterback. We know that this is the NFL. Jobs are not safe anywhere. But when you get rid of quarterback and the replacement for that quarterback is worse, make that make sense. But you hired Josh McDaniels, you gave him a lot of money, and you allowed him to try to bring in his guys. Josh McDaniels is a guy who has only proven to be somewhat capable as a coordinator and definitely not as a head coach. Jimmy Garoppolo is also a quarterback that has only been proven to be good under the system of Kyle Shanahan. Even though he had a decent stint as the Patriots quarterback years ago, it has been proven already that Jimmy Garoppolo cannot get the job done. And that is why Kyle Shanahan wanted to replace him in the first place. But I'm not here to bash on Jimmy G. He can be decent at times, but he's not a quarterback that's going to take you anywhere anytime soon. And so if you're Davante Adams, where do you go from here? And if you're the Raiders, where do you go from here? And in my honest opinion, I think the Raiders actually made the best move in not trading him right now. But if I'm Davante Adams, I'm upset about this entire situation because I want to get out of there right now. But let's start from the top. The Raiders, what should they do? Play the thing out until the end of the season and then figure out what you're going to do with Davante Adams after that. that, because honestly, you're probably going to get a better deal because you can see exactly where everybody stacks up in the draft. Secondly, sit down, take your time, not sign a head coach to a lucrative $10 million a year deal until you find the right guy. Even if you find the right guy, $10 million a year for a head coach, especially the head coaches that have proven that they're not that good, is insane. Look at the Jets, look at the Giants, look at the Lions. And I know the Giants aren't the best looking team right now, but if we look at the season before this, the Giants actually were looking like a better team. But if you look at that roster, player to player, the Giants just do not stack up at all. They need to retool and regroup, but I honestly like the coach that they have over there. And with that being said, it's sad to say this, but Davante Adams is going to be stuck in this situation until the year is over, which is honestly going to hurt his numbers, hurt his production, because as I've been looking throughout these games, he is noticeably frustrated, and that is affecting his game to a certain extent. He's still able to get off the line. He's still able to do all these great things in terms of beating his defenders, but you can tell that his body language is not the same, and that's gonna hurt his production just a little bit. It's gonna be hard for him just to put his head down and continue to play, because everybody and their mama know that he is unhappy in this situation, and we still have a good chunk of the season left to be played. I do believe that he will get traded in the offseason once the Raiders are able to sit back and look and see where other teams are in the draft and make a smart trade. So I do agree with not trading him at the deadline, because a lot of people were pressuring the team to trade him from the Raiders perspective, but from Davante Adams perspective, they are simply holding him captive. But I know they thought that it may get better, but it obviously didn't. The writing was on the wall from the get-go, and anybody on the outside looking in could see this. I'm hoping that he gets traded to a contender, because I know he wants to, and honestly deserves to, contend for a championship somewhere, and honestly, that would not be the Las Vegas Raiders anytime soon. They honestly need to start over, get as much back for Davante Adams as you can, and try to go younger on the offensive end. The defense of the Oakland Raiders, however, is a conversation for another day. When you're playing this up and down game, should you rebuild, should you not? It's honestly better, in my opinion, to go ahead and restart, other than playing this middle of the road game. They need to go out and try to find a good quarterback. They need to go out and find a better GM and a better head coach, and then worry about the other stuff on the back end. Trading Davante Adams for some great assets. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think that the Las Vegas Raiders should hit the reset button like I do, or do you think they should just hold pack until next year, and hopefully the right coach will come along and be able to fix some of the things that's going down in that locker room? Until next time, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and also subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.